The biggest fight in Kagurabachi took place, and I'll admit it is probably my favorite fight in the manga. Chihiro versus Sojo is still right after that, because that's to me still an instant classic. But we got the third fight between Chihiro versus Hirohiko, and then Samura comes in and completely just outclasses everyone and kind of just shows the power scaling gap between him, Chihiro, and Hirohiko, and that Samura might be even more of a problem than we originally thought he was. Hirohiko pops up again in the Kyoto Bloodshed Hotel with the Hishaku. They're just having a regular conversation and going over what they brought to the invasion. He only brought a hairpin, which he uses to put someone's eye out, and to put his hair in a ponytail, which I actually preferred this look for him, especially since knowing his hair is pink. I don't know why, that just kind of fits. A fake waiter comes over and he instantly decapitates him. Not able to use Kumayuri because of Samura's owl. That's literally just a UAV for the enchanted blades. He would just track down Hirohiko and kill him. And goddamn, I knew Samura was strong, but he's on a whole other level after this fight. The general manager steps from behind the desk and engages in a duel with Hirohiko and uses his Reagan 1 sword style. And he was letting his presence be known for about a good 10 seconds, because after that, Hirohiko just started to do his thing. You see, he doesn't have a master or a trainer that taught him how to sword fight. He fights off pure instinct and freedom. From the way he's holding the sword and blocking the GM's attacks behind his back was unorthodox and makes him hard to read. Cuts the GM's arms off and will slaughter him shortly after this. Chihiro consoles Yori and promises to keep her safe. I'll cover her character and Samura after in a whole different video, just because first of all, I was kind of caught off guard at how good they were written, because I thought it was going to be something a little hokey, but I'm not going to lie, really solid character writing. Some paid assassins tried to catch Chihiro off guard by kind of going at him through the door, so he closes the door behind him after he leaves, and Hiyori looks through the peephole, and Hokuzono draws this panel in a fish-eye lens. And it's one of the most creative perspective panels I've read of at least the recent new gen manga, and Hokuzono is really mastering the art of scaling and perception, and he really shows it off in this art. But this panel here, to me, is one of his most impressive works. Leaving a trail of bloody bodies in the hallway, they walk towards the elevator, and the demon meets them. When the doors open with the GM's head in his hand. I just love cold shit like this, I'm sorry. Casually talking, Hirohiko exposes how he found them and calls Yori Samura's weakness. I like how in control of the situation Chihiro is, working with them, assuming trusting them with Yori to keep her out of the fight, which thank God, because I really just wanted a 1v1 between these two, no interferences. And you could tell Hokuzono has some action movie inspiration with these two, especially with them fighting down the descending elevator, crashing into the first floor. I love how they gassed up Hirohiko and how gifted he is as a fighter through other people's pain. Fighting him is like fighting an invisible sword. The ability to use both hands with the sword, overhand and underhand, while simultaneously moving into his opponent's blind spot is actually insane. For the average swordsman, this is a very difficult puzzle to try to piece together in real time fighting him. Except Chihiro ain't normal, and Chihiro counters the attack from an odd angle. I also appreciate the duality in style here, because Chihiro is trying to hone the EA sword style, a very traditional sword fighting style that dates back to the 16th, 17th centuries, and is still effective against this hybrid of style that Hirohiko is using. It reminds me a lot of Samurai Champloo, with Mugen, his sword fight incorporated breakdancing, wearing an outlaw type outfit, and Jin, who is a traditional samurai in every sense of the way. Also, Chihiro is doing all this and he has to reach the roof to free Yori because he's the only one with the key. Chapter 70 went into a little bit of the history of the Ido white purity style. Sword master Iso Shirikai. To master this style, you need to be able to maintain the same speed and force when re-gripping the sword. It's an unorthodox grip that requires the wielder to re-grip after drawing the sword. Back then, this was looked at as stupid and laughed upon by normal swordsmen. Well, eventually they weren't able to laugh anymore after Ichigo cut them all down. Both Hirohiko and Chihiro have styles where they are re-gripping after the initial swing. Except Hiro is just naturally better at it. A gifted prodigy versus a gifted beast. Hirohiko is mocking tradition and using the EA style, which wasn't perfect, but it was still not bad. I love the panels where they are both in opposite elevators and the panels are getting closer with each second the doors close, and when they open again, they're in the eye stance. They both engage, and Chihiro is the victor in this clash, slicing Hiro across the chest. It's also interesting how Hirohiko is like toying around and playing around with this style that he's not used ever, and he's still technically learning how to fight with a sword, but it's weird that this is a serious moment for him, but he's still not taking it as serious because he's more so just mocking Chihiro and whatever he stands for with sword fighting. And while all this is going on, Chihiro is looking at the awakening of Yori in this instance. Hirohiko gets teleported away during this to recuperate. And during that time, Yori and Chihiro talk about Samura, and they also bring up the owl and sense the enchanted blade. So that means Hirohiko, Yori, and Chihiro know about the owl. But Hirohiko is in a bad condition, and he's like, fuck it, I'm not going out like this. In worst case scenario, he can get Samura to turn against Chihiro somehow. During this moment, Yori wants to see her father, and wants to let him feel her emotions. And this was done in such a dope way of calling out for her father. And Chihiro and Hirohiko both unleash their enchanted blades, Enten and Kumayuri. And the second they do, Samura comes down with Tobimune, like a fallen dark angel. The word aura gets thrown around a lot like it's nothing, but this right here, this is straight aura. I love when a strong character pulls up in the middle of a battle and everyone just stops and it's like, oh shit, we might be cooked. When Tobimune is active, the feathers that descend to Samura is able to swap places with that feather and use the feathers to sense his surroundings as well. He beheaded both Hirohiko and Toto, but it was all an illusion. Once Kumayuri is drawn, he could put opponents in intoxicating hallucination. Not gonna lie, I instantly just got flashes of Aizen when I read this and realized what was happening. I don't know, this sword just gave me like flashbacks of Aizen and Mayuri in the same. And I love the way that Hokuzono drew these panels, like the words are melting with the blade. And I can say, at least for now, Kumayuri is probably my favorite enchanted blade. The two faceless geishas pouring the alcohol in the cup, such an attention grabber, and it looks graceful, especially in the double page spread where it was first introduced. The hallucination makes every action feel real. One thing it doesn't do is heal, because Hirohiko is still messed up, but won't retreat because of his obsession with fighting Chihiro, and with completing this mission. Taking a risk and still trying to use Samura's daughter is really fucking crazy in the situation. Like, my boy, you have no leverage at all. And these two are back to killing each other yet again. Using Nishiki to strengthen his inner ears, which I forget that he could do. Enten has a lot of extension abilities that enhance or support the user, and I wouldn't be surprised if one more came out. The enchanted blades all have 3 abilities. Kumayuri has Banquet, which is for hallucinations. Play, which enables the user to freely control objects around them, so he uses not only the corpses lying around, but the hallways at his disposal. And I like the awareness Hirohiko has of himself. He's obsessed with fighting Chihiro and dragging out his full power. He points out that he lost in a duel twice already, and he knows he's being underestimated. So he shifts his focus to killing Samura, trying to target Samura mentally and emotionally. Now Samura knows he's in a hallucination, and a bunch of corpses with swords stab him as he takes all those sword attacks to protect Iori. Now Hirohiko yelling he's the one who's free is always interesting to see how almost sociopath characters use the word free or freedom a lot, but in their mind they're right. And that's something I've always wanted to tackle, because you really put themselves in their shoes compared to Chihiro even. He's not wrong. This is all free will for Hirohiko and off pure instinct. Except he underestimated just how fucking nasty Samura is. Tobimune has another ability just like any enchanted blade. He uses Suzaku with all these swords in his body. And if you play Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, Final Fantasy, you know what was about to happen before he did it. Suzaku is like a phoenix bird in Japanese mythology. So of course he healed himself from the recent wounds. And if it's one thing from the start of the series and to its inevitable end, the Hokuzono is going to be generational at, is these blackout panels. Because my god, this is amazing. He even has healing flames around him. Also, this is a really cool painting drawn with Suzaku with that mirrors what's happening. I can't freaking wait for the anime for this series, because it's definitely coming sooner rather than later, because this animated is going to go crazy. The element of Samura trying to eliminate both Hiro and Chihiro at the same time never truly made sense to me, even in Samura's perspective. Like, I know mentally he's kind of fucked up and almost taking too much accountability, but you literally have a common enemy in Hirohiko, and Chihiro is not going to fight you unless you make him. I was really hoping Hirohiko would use his third ability, because I was curious to how crazy Kumayuri can get with its manipulating or puppeteering theme it has, but we don't get that. Instead, he focused on using play in a more significant way. The more Kumayuri or play is used on an object, the more familiar he gets with using it, and the more they respect the object, the more precisely he can use it. So he uses play, and the geisha has control over the entire hotel structure. And this is one of my favorite panels in the whole manga. Drawing the geisha's hands around the border of the panel as if he's crushing the hotel and the manga page is that extra attention to detail that will always be fire to me. As the building is crumbling, Hirohiko thinks it's a good way to get rid of Samura. and he can have his final 1v1 with Chihiro, obsessed with Chihiro as Chihiro gave his life meaning. This is his ultimate goal over anything else, and he sees an opportunity to give his life fulfillment, only for that dream of his to quickly become a nightmare. And as he's controlling the corpses to chase Samura away, Samura lures him to put the corpses right above the hole in the hotel where he can see Hirohiko looking down. Chihiro sees what's about to happen, and Hirohiko notices once he sees Chihiro's face, and this demon Samura uses Suzaku again and strikes down through the corpses straight into Hirohiko. And this revealed that Suzaku's flames can be used for more than just on the user. It can be used to restore anything it touches. It can't bring things back to life, but it can repair things that have been damaged. The Flames of Universal Mercy is his nickname. Look how he got my boy, man. On the floor, bloody and crying, just going outside in the worst way. But this shows just how good Samura is after 18 years of experience, because he's not even winded after all that. Kagurabachi comes in and he launches a big blast that's big enough to help Hirohiko and escape. Hirohiko now has no arm and no Kumayuri. This is a total defeat for the Ishaku. And Hirohiko told him to kill him because he saw Chihiro's eyes and he didn't care about him or have any real hatred for him. If anything, Chihiro just looked at him like a nuisance. Now, I'm sure he didn't get off screen. On the 10% chance he does, I mean, damn, what a sad way to go out for such a cool character. But the 90% chance that he didn't get off, I think the next step for Hirohiko as a character is finding an ambition outside Chihiro. Which, for a crazy antagonist like himself, how does he go about doing that? I think if it does happen, it will stem from a disagreement with him and the Hishaku leader Yori, because this isn't the first time he failed the mission. And the biggest loss is losing Kumayuri out of everything, giving the good guys and Samura another enchanted blade on their side. And I'm sure there are more powerful sorcerers in the Hishaku, but Hirohiko is still a very skilled and strong sorcerer. He just needs the right motivation to keep him going. It's really weird saying this about an animalistic killer, but that is what it is. And oddly enough, I see him being more of a loner than he is going to like the good side for some odd reason. Because he does also seem like a guy that you can kind of manipulate his emotions easily. This is a really cool fight. I mean, great moments, awesome moments. It's like Hokuzono just knows how to do some cool shit, man. I'll tell you that. And that shit can take you a long way. And I hope he's obviously going to keep doing great. I mean, the last chapter that just came out recently, even that was some gas. So I know he's going to do good. I just really like Hirohiko. He just reminds me of, you know, Mahito, but obviously different. And Kumayuri, he cooked with that one. But let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about this fight, you know, any street characters in particular. I'll let y'all in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, Kim Jong